Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Velocity Kinetics. It's been an extremely long time since we've done an episode, and we're picking up with a cars and cooking episode. And today I'm sort of just trying to explain our absence, so to speak. Get on with this, shall we? So, typically, I would shoot for... Sorry, I'm trying to film this as best as I can with the weird light situation I have in this house. It's not fantastic. So apologies, things might be editing as we go. Just making it a base lot of mince. Again, probably the same as I did last time in cars and cooking, if memory serves me correctly. Using my fantastic, though, what I did not have at the time, Victorinox chef's knife. Although I do have a proper Santoku knife that I prefer to use. This one is a bit of a... This one is very light, it doesn't have a lot of weight to it, but that's not what we are talking about today. So I'm just explaining our absence and lack of videos recently, and in general the lack of content, if I have to be brutally honest. Not that it's not been through my choice, the lack of content. Well, I suppose technically it is. Even just the lack of general back and forth on the Facebook page is what's going on. So what happened? So, well, nothing much really. Well, it kind of didn't happen. I had a couple of trolls on the Facebook page. Sort of knocked my confidence a bit. I suppose in many ways the page, it's weird because the page is not that big. It never has been. I think it peaked at 50, not quite 60 likes. I think we're on 54 at the moment, or something in that region. As I've said multiple times, this is not really about getting likes and things, whilst it'd be nice if we ever did something good enough to warrant things like YouTube ad revenue and things like that. That would be nice, but we've never gotten that far. Swace videos are probably the best performing videos at the moment. Crush it with the blade of your knife slightly, just to get it peeled. Swace videos are probably the ones that I've gotten the most traction on, all across, when it was on my own page and when we went across to having its own YouTube page. So I'm a little bit bothered by blooming in this corner of the picture, and I'm not sure there's an awful lot I can do about it. One in front, two behind, as the Master Gordon Ramsay says. And if anyone's questioning what I'm making, because Sarah's on night shifts all week, basically making a base lot of mince that will make into a shepherd's pie later on, and then probably just have some spare mince to make last the rest of the week, which probably add a can of red kidney beans or something like that to it, so it won't quite be a full-blown chilli. But I had a few trolls on the page. I'll be honest, they knocked my confidence, and whilst it shouldn't have, and like I said, I didn't think the page was even. It's sort of weird. It's interesting that they've picked out my page out of all the pages. Mind you, they might have trolled a few people at once, I don't know. And I know the messages are open on the Velocity Kinetics page, so maybe we invited it, and Russ changed it to the messages were, when he was alive, he changed to the messages were open, but I've never seen any come in. But it was more because when we started going down the YouTube route, he wanted it open so we could potentially... It was after the back-to-back video. He did it in case we got asked to review more stuff and people could contact us to do it. that was just a one-off video, so, well, I'd like to do more of them, but with it being just a one-off, there wasn't an awful lot we could do. But his heart was in the right place with that. I have to admit, I wouldn't say I grieved for Russ, in not on the full-blown, oh my god, like people, you know, stereotypical grieving. But I suppose I have in my own way. I never met the man, we never did so much as even a Skype, because with him being in Virginia, times and timing were always difficult to line that up. But I suppose since he died, I've had difficulty in finding things to make videos about, because he would often send me articles which would then get the old noodle box firing, which would then in turn give me something to talk about. I've struggled a lot more than I thought I would, with now going back to being a one-person show, operation show, however you want to describe it. Going back to just it being just myself. That is just my kitchen heater kicked in because I don't have a radiator in my kitchen. Cheap landlord. Let a knife do the work. Don't force it. I sharpen this knife every time I use it. Before every time I use it. So I've struggled going back to one-person operation. Earlier this year when I put out quite a few videos, I actually used up everything I had in what I sometimes call the vault, i.e. videos that I had recorded and stuff that was edited ready to go up. I never thought I would actually completely clear it out, but I have. And the reason I have cleared it out is because some of the videos I'd recorded I'd done when I was very tired. As you probably have seen on the page a few times, I've commented, talked about, whatever words you want to use to describe it. I have a few times not had a clue what I was talking about in the video later on when it came to be edited. Not my fault, well, it is my fault, but that happened more than once. And this has happened because working in Ipswich as often as I do, Ipswich is 35 miles away from here one way. I then still often have to take Sarah to work, whether that's in the morning or in the evening, and pick her up from work again, whether that's in the morning or in the evening. On a day where I take her to work in the morning, and I'm working in Ipswich, warm in here, my jumper sleeves won't stay up, but now, because I have a ceramic hob now in this house rather than a gas hob, I hate using ceramic hobs, I find it so much harder to gauge what I'm actually doing. It's probably the best way to put it. But for instance, on a day where I take Sarah to work in the morning, her shift starts at 7 o'clock. If I'm going to Ipswich, my day typically begins somewhere around 10 to 5 in the morning, because I need to get up, get showered, and basically be out of her way, so, you know, so I'm not in her way when she's trying to get herself ready, which is understandable. Same thing whether you've got children, husbands, wives, or however you choose to identify. That is just a harsh reality of it all. Not a reality people like. I sure as hell don't like it myself. But here we are. So on those days you know, my day begins then, because I have a tablet I take in the morning. I like to give it time to work. I'm making a cottage, I think I called it shepherd's pie, it's actually a cottage pie because I'm type mince, but I know I'm not, for anyone who goes, well, you don't put that in, you don't put that in, you don't put that in, like I said, I'm just making a lot of mince that'll do the bottom of that sort of pie, or whether that'll do with rice, pasta, so on and so forth later in the week. Not something, I'm not what do you call it, not preaching that this is the right way, because I think technically a proper cottage pie / shepherd's pie, it's white onion, carrots, celery and peas, if I remember rightly. We leave the house 20 to 7 in the morning. She's at work somewhere between 10 to and 5 to, and then sometimes I pick up the lady who is my manager, because she lives actually not that far away from where I've got to go to get to the A14 anyway, so it's not a massive out of my way. Now, if on the days I don't pick that lady up, I'm on the A14 by 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm in Ipswich for about 20 to 8, give or take a few minutes. Typically then I'll go have a Cafe Nero and then wait until my colleague's deemed to turn up at 8:30 if they actually turn up at all. On the days I pick my colleague up, sometimes she doesn't come out of her flat until 20 past 7, but even then we're still in Ipswich for about 10 to 8, somewhere between 10 to and 8 o'clock. By the time we've got to where we work, it's about 5 past 10 past time, if we haven't treated ourselves to a Nero or needed to get supplies for our workplace on the way. So it's a very long day, and then sometimes when I know I haven't got a lot to do in the evening, sometimes I will not go home before picking Sarah up. That's if I haven't got anything the next day. Sometimes, not always, sometimes. So, and it also depends on what time we get out, because the last few weeks we had problems with some of the machines we use. So there's been multiple days where even though we're meant to leave at 4:30, we're still there at 6 o'clock. Typically, it's myself and the lady that I pick up, because you know she's the manager. She has to stay until the job's done. And usually on the day that, because it's a day I've got to pick Sarah up, I haven't got to do anything until I've got to go pick her up. Now on Friday, we were still in that branch at 6:30 in the evening. It was insane, to put it mildly. Ow. That was just insane. And then when I do get a chance to record, I either go to record, sometimes I'll have a vague idea and sort of sit and monologue and then edit it out later. You can probably tell sometimes by a number of jump cuts as to how well or not the edit went. But with all this extra work, my time is split between 2 branches. I work out of one branch, I work out of Ipswich 3 days a week, and I work out of Stowmarket 2 days a week. Well, that's how it's supposed to be. That's the arrangement I was told a few months ago. That's how it's supposed to be done. But I've found that I have had more and more often had to come over to Ipswich and be there even more. Now it's not, I don't personally take that as a criticism. It's nice to be viewed as being so plug and play to go into any branch, and for them just to, you know, to be like, yeah, that's fine, Chris, come on, we can put you here, we can put you there, you know. And I would also say, for anyone who works in banking circles, if you're offered the opportunity to go work out another part of the business or out of another location, take the opportunity, because you'll learn things that you didn't know. I didn't know I had massive gaps in my knowledge until I started going to several different branches. I brought back improved processes for multiple branches, coming back and, well, this branch does this branch does that. It's been quite an enjoyable and interesting experience. At least for me, it has been. Just letting put the tomato puree to the bottom of the pan, just letting that infuse. My stock cube, because I don't have actual stock, beef stock. And then I'll rinse out my tomato puree tin with some water. Probably going to flavour this with some like paprika, a bit of curry, a bit of mustard. Sort of try and get underneath it with a bit of warmth because it is quite cold. Try and make it a bit saucy because nice to have the gravy with mashed potato and nice to put the gravy on everything. Anyway, so I've been doing this Ipswich thing probably since June / definitely July, if not June this year. And it's been, initially it was just ad hoc, and then it's become more and more recent. Now, thankfully, I've got a new job that starts in December. Still with the same company, just higher up, and working from home now, with occasional visits to the head offices. So that's really good for me. It means I have more time to do this. If nothing else, more time just to think out more content. I do have a video that I'm currently compiling, because when I was on holiday, I started recording a bit about the Swace. That fell by the wayside. I then recorded an extra bit to it the other week, and then I can't find my GoPro I got off Wish. Now I'm going to use a bit of red wine. Sarah and I don't drink wine very much, and manager bought everyone at work this last year, and I've been using it to cook with. Clean jugs are a novelty in this house some weeks. So I started recording the bits for the Swace. I went to edit a video where the premise of the video was, is car buying dead? As in, is leasing etc. the way to go now? And you know what, that was one of those videos that I had to cut the editing room floor, because when I was watching the video back, if nothing else, if I'd made sense, it was going to get cut just because of vanity, because I looked absolutely exhausted in the video. Not something I particularly wanted the world to see. So it's just been all about time. And then when I do have some time, because the amount of night shifts Sarah's working, I don't want to be, I'll put it bluntly, I don't want to be off recording. I know she says she doesn't mind, but I don't want to be sort of putting this blog ahead of my family. You know, and sometimes we do get, because we're wanting to start a family, you know, the time is bloody precious. And I just mean is in time for the two of us, not anything rude or giggity about it. Tasting spoon. That'll wipe off. Taste the sauce. It's at a weird stage because it's going to do multiple days. Do I put anything else in it? Because if I go too spicy, then the longer it sits, the spicier it's going to get. But this isn't what I call sole cottage pie or sole shepherd's pie, where it's spicy mint underneath with sweet potato on top. I'd recommend doing that. I'd chuck a few chilies in your mince at some point, or just go to town with your spices, and then instead of using regular potatoes, use sweet potatoes, and then when you're mashing it up, lots of butter, lots of cheese. You'll thank me later. It is sweet and spicy on the plate. That is just gorgeous. But obviously season it to what you can cope with. Don't make it so you blow out your asshole. So I do apologise. I'm sort of thinking out loud. I'm thinking out loud, and I'm also trying to move video forward and talk about what I'm doing. Basically, I've had no time for Velocity Kinetics recently, and then added to this, anyone who's got a Facebook page, as in separate to their main profile, Facebook has recently changed how you interact with that profile. I just used to click on a different thing, it would take me over to my page, take me over to Velocity Kinetics, do my thing, and then click back. Now it's a whole profile change, so whilst you're not logging out and logging in, it makes it a lot harder. And things like where I used to just be able to go share to page, share Velocity Kinetics, share ads Velocity Kinetics, and spout off whatever I was going to spout off, I can't do that anymore. And it doesn't always work. Well, I can't do that anymore, at least I couldn't for a little while, and it's so hit and miss now as to whether it will do it. It's a bit annoying, to say the least, with how it's gone, and I'm a little pissed with it, because there's been a lot of articles I've tried to share that I thought I'd shared, and haven't, and then I've had to make sure I've been on that article, then go over to Velocity Kinetics and interact as that, and then share. It's a bit of a fucking faff. Just for either my own personal reference in the edit, or for people watching this thinking, what the fuck are you on about? This is going on and on and on. At this point in the video, it's 39 minutes long, so if it's cut down to about sub 30 or even sub 20, you know how much work I've put into cut it down. I'm going to call that it, because if I keep thinking, I'm going to try and get my seasoning right, but if I keep adding more and more things in, it's just never going to quite get right. I think I've got it. I like to have, it's nice, it's weird when you looking at how I like to cook now. It's one of these things. I should have been a chef, should really have trained it for it. That's what I wanted to be when I was a child. And I don't know how to word it and work it out. It's been a tough year for Velocity Kinetics in many ways, but hopefully before the end of the year I'm going to have not quite a back-to-back video. Put a little bit more gravy browning in that. Oh, it's starting to spit at me. So yeah, it's been a tough year for Velocity Kinetics. There's that saying, don't let the bosses get you down, so anyone who trolls the page, I'm just not responding anymore. Likewise on the YouTube page, anyone trolls, that's it. I need to set up the handle for our Velocity Kinetics on YouTube. I need to get a dish out to put this mince in so it can cool. So then when I put the potato on later, it does not sink. Yeah. But yeah, there's going to be, it's not quite back to back, but sort of a year and a bit living with the Swace, as in long-terming it, because some of the long-termers don't sort of, they go and do special things, don't they, like on things like Top Gear, 5th Gear, so they make special journeys to do special this, special that. Whereas for me, it's just day-to-day living, so get a cup of that. And maybe I'll try and get some more things thought through. I might need to speak to my brother about it, but drive safe, look after yourselves. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Do apologise about the absence, and any future absences is because of work, usually work commitments. And we'll see you in the next video.